Kentucky Roll Call.
Here's a swing and a drive to deep left. Back goes Nixon. Looking up. Daly wins it. Daly wins it. Daly wins it.
With Walker and Peak.
Woodson from the gun. Play fake. Step it up. He's throwing deep down the near sideline. He's got Johnson. 20. Down. 5. Touchdown. Kentucky.
When Mitch called me and talked to me about being the head coach here at Kentucky, I understand the assignment. We are here to win banners.
Back outside. This is the point where he always hits it.
Aaron Harrison beyond belief.
Welcome into Kentucky Roll Call for Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. It is KSR Takeover Tuesday, and we're leading it off with Daniel Hager. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us here today on Kentucky Roll Call. Daniel and I made the trip to Omaha, Nebraska back in 2024. And Daniel, what are you telling me there?
Oh, that's our pin it up there. Our college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. I'm wearing the hat that I bought when I was there. I am. I thought I could bring you on because I thought for sure Sunday, as Kentucky is up 9-6 going into the final inning, that we're going to be talking about a repeat trip to Omaha, Nebraska. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But first of all, Daniel, what is life like over on the On3 news desk?
It's great. A bunch of great guys over there, expanding the palette a little bit. You know, the last few years, UK baseball and some stuff like that. So now it's for the past year now. I've been there a year, just a few days ago. Right, love writing about college football, college basketball. Some great people at On3. It's been a blast for the last year.
Well, once a KSR reporter, always a KSR reporter. So Daniel, leading off today, the KSR Takeover Tuesday. Daniel, obviously the biggest story coming out of yesterday, and really it couldn't have happened at a better time. Just as we were all down and depressed about the way the baseball season ended, it was 30 minutes? Was it even 30 minutes afterwards? We get the news. Milan Momcilovic is going to be Kentucky Wildcat. And now we can get excited about a basketball season. Daniel, what does this mean for Mark Pope in Kentucky?
First of all, it brings an excitement. I know internet's a bubble. Like you don't really know how much of the fan base that really represents. But since that loss to Iowa State in the tournament, things have been kind of like we don't really know what's going to happen here. You bring in some guys like Alex Wilkins, Zoom Diallo, Njai, and you get excited about it, Moreno, but you're like, you don't really know what the ceiling is. It's like you don't really have the guy, like a third really good guy to go with Wilkins and Moreno. And man, I'm so excited to see this guy play at Rupp. He tore us up in the tournament. Such a great 3-point shooter. All the national guys love him. Rothstein, Goodman, everyone talking about him. So it's good to see some positivity for the Kentucky basketball program, if anything, and especially needed after another loss to West Virginia to end the season. I'm getting really tired of those, Steven. I don't know about you, but especially being there in person last year and then seeing it this year, I'm really tired of that. But legit perfect timing. Not even 30 minutes after you had to sit there and listen to those West Virginia fans sing Country Roads after complaining about the umpiring all night. So, yeah, could not have been better timing.
Milan Momcilovic is one of maybe the best shooter in the transfer portal. Is the best 3-point shooter in the transfer portal. I've gone over his stats several times on the show. Let's just do it one more time, Daniel, because every time I read this stat line is when I get real excited for what this guy could do in the Mark Pope offense. Shooting 49% from three on nearly 8 attempts per game. I mean, honestly, if he takes, let's say, 10 threes a game and his shooting percentage drops by 10%, if his 3-point percentage drops by 10%, he'll be one of the best 3-point threats in all of college basketball.
Yes.
That's insane to me.
It's so exciting. It's so exciting. Like the Mark Pope era begins with Kobe Bryant, and you're like, man, we're going to get this every year. We're going to have a guy like this every single year. And it's like we just didn't really have that last year. So That is going to be so much fun to see that this year. And I can't wait. I was going into the season like I mean, a lot of other people were too. Just like I don't really know like how excited I can get for this, but now with Momcilovic, man, like I'm so excited. Like let's roll the ball out tomorrow. Need that ball back tomorrow.
That's where I'm at too. I mean, before you think back to just 3 weeks ago, I have been telling people and myself. So I'm not preaching to anybody. I was feeling the same anxieties. I was very concerned about what this 2026-27 season was going to look like.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to tell myself and everybody who listened to the show, let's just be patient. Let's not go out and just bash Mark Pope and throw in the towel on the upcoming season before the roster is fully put together. I know they have one more spot left, but this is your roster now. Yeah. And this is a roster that it's top 10. It's top 10 now. I know some people put out their rankings, and the highest I've seen so far is like 17th. Not everybody has put theirs out yet, but I won't be surprised if by the start of the season, Kentucky is preseason top 15. Is that unreasonable?
No, it's definitely not. And you go through the SEC, like that's a top of the tier SEC roster. When you really look at Arkansas, they lose Malik. They got Billy Richmond back. They'll be good. Some of these other guys, LSU, you don't know what the hell they're going to be. Like you know what these guys are for Kentucky. Malachi Moreno, really good as a freshman. I think he's underrated. I think people kind of like they didn't really talk about how good he was for being a freshman. You see like all these national guys, right? Yeah, he was kind of less, not that great. Like, dude was really good, and he'll be really good going into next year. And just going through the depth is great. I love the depth now. I was kind of iffy on it if we needed a Cam Williams to start, but having that guy come off the bench, like he can be a great bench guy. Come off the bench, provide a spark, hit some threes, all the way down. I'm brimming with excitement. Since last night, I've been so excited for it, man. I can't get over it.
It is so funny what this fan base and how we react to news. When they missed on Tyron Stokes, when they missed on Donnie Freeman and Rob Wright, I mean, the pitchforks were out on Mark Pope.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Mark Pope did probably the coolest thing that he's never been more cool. Maybe not since the opening press conference is when he put out that image with him on the beach with the 50 Cent song Mini Men playing in the background.
It was like a gospel version of Mini Men. Like that might take away the aura a little bit, but still, the cards and what was he drinking on there?
I don't know. I guess he doesn't drink alcohol, right? So I don't know what that was. He had a lot of fruit there. I know they were discussing during the KSR this morning whether it was an AI image, but I think they came to the conclusion that it was not. And but just it's so cool, and it's really cool to see the Kentucky fan base on board with their team again.
Yeah. And
it feels like the last 5 or 6 years, the roller coaster of this program has been a lot. I mean, it's not always been fun, but I think this team is going to provide enough great moments. And I don't know, Daniel, if this is necessarily a championship contender right now. We'll have to see. Because if we're it to be a championship contender, Malachi needs to make a big jump. Wilkins needs to be what he was versus Connecticut. He needs to be that, I mean, very consistently. But this could be a reset. This could lead to having a really good season that you can build off of once again, kind of like what Pope did in year one and transitioning into year two. If they stay healthy, which is a big if around the Kentucky athletic department lately, if they stay healthy, I do think this team will be a Final Four contender. You all have heard me say I'm really big on Kentucky getting 1 seeds. We have to get a 1 seed again. I don't know if this team is going to be capable of doing it, but I think a 2 seed is well within their grasp now. Do you think that are we putting too much on Milan Momcilovic, as somebody in our chat has said?
I don't think so. Like he's not like top of the line superstar that you're going to get in college basketball, but he is one of those guys that he knows his role. He'll play his role correct. And if the rest of the team pans out, he'll thrive in that role. Like You touched on Alex Wilkins. If he can make that jump to being a really good SEC guard, you've got him dishing out to Momcilovic, Zoom Diallo. We don't know what he'll be in this year. And then you've got your solid guys. Braden Hawthorne. Nobody's talking about him. And if he was in this class,
Yes.
he would have been like a top 20 recruit. Like,
Yep.
if he was in this class, we'd be like, man, this guy, we are so excited to see Braden Hawthorne. Like, we don't know what his ceiling could be. Like, and so we just don't know what he's going to be, what he can provide off the bench. Man.
I totally agree. I think him, and you mentioned Cam Williams, I think those are two guys that everybody is sleeping on. Braden Hawthorne, we all didn't get to see him play in a game, but we got a lot of reports coming out of practice last year that there were several times when he was being mentioned as one of the best players. And then with Cam Williams, I think he was really hitting his stride, unfortunately, right before his injury.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt at all. I wouldn't put UK at maybe the top of the college basketball world in terms of teams, because you got obviously like Florida, Duke, Illinois, Michigan, all these teams are just absolutely reloaded. But maybe in that second apron, I could see just on the depth and Milan topping it off. I'm so excited. Well, first of all, let's get a first round bye in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, let's play.
Let's win.
Thursday, maybe Friday. Let's start on Friday.
Yeah, start on Friday. Let's get a top 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, 2 seed, maybe a 1 seed. Let's go get a 1 seed. It's been so long, too damn long, Steven. And I know we talked about this. It pisses us off every single year. We need a 1 seed. It's been way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long.
I mean, even a 1 seed in the SEC tournament, I think we're talking, well, in a tournament that has been played, the last time Kentucky played as a 1 seed in the SEC tournament was 9 years ago. It was 2017, which is, I mean, that's a pretty long time ago. It feels like it's been a while since I watched De'Aaron Fox play basketball at Kentucky. And
they're on the broadcast calling him a veteran. He's a veteran in the NBA now. That's how long it's been.
Yeah, he's been in the NBA for 8 years now.
Yeah.
So that's how long it has been since Kentucky played as the 1 seed in the SEC tournament. I will settle for just, this is where we are. Can we just play a SEC tournament game on a Saturday?
Is that too much to ask? Too much to ask.
I want, as Gregory Butler says, and by the way, get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line. That's, if you see the number there, 502-414-1450. We're doing something new today. If you're just listening on the radio, then you don't see what we're doing on KSR YouTube. This is the first time the show has been live on KSR's YouTube channel for KSR Takeover Tuesday. We're talking to Daniel Hager of On3, formerly of KSR. And one of the texts we got was Final Four, focus on the SEC for crying out loud. It's a good point, Gregory. We can't help it as Kentucky fans. We're going to talk about what the NCAA tournament expectations are, but he's right. Kentucky needs to be going into March, out late February, with still the chance that they can win the SEC. We have not done that since the season shut down in 2020. It's time we get back to that again. And really, we have not gone into a game, I believe, last week of February or the first week of March, which would be the last week of the SEC regular season, with Kentucky having a chance to win the SEC. I don't think we've had that since COVID.
No, I don't think so.
So that's not Kentucky. We got to get back to that. And I think with this roster, and I feel like I'm saying this a lot. And everything now is prefaced by, can we stay healthy? If this team stays healthy, this team should they should be able to make a run at the SEC. Whether they're able to beat Florida or not, I don't know. But this team could actually win something, Daniel. Do you think this team wins anything? SEC tournament, or wins their region in the NCAA tournament?
I mean, it's just tough because of how
I'm going to hold you to this prediction on June 2nd.
No. But
okay.
That doesn't mean that it cannot be a successful season. Florida and Tennessee are primed to be great. Arkansas with Cal, can never count him out for making a run at the SEC, and then they won the tournament last year. I don't know if UK has that caliber of horsepower to contend with the Floridas with their entire starting lineup back pretty much, and Tennessee, which just hit big in the portal. But again, that doesn't mean it can't be successful. Get a top 2-3 seed in the SEC tournament. When you get to the SEC tournament, anything can happen. We saw that last year. We see that every year with the lower seeds making runs, and then NCAA tournament, same thing. The luck just hasn't been on their side in the past few seasons. But who's to say that can't change this year? Who's to say that can't change?
And I'll respond to this message here on the YouTube chat. It said we beat Tennessee and Arkansas, beat Tennessee twice as underdogs, and beat Arkansas in probably the most shocking win of the season. This is what I'm saying about Kentucky's expectations, though. Last year, for 300-plus college basketball programs, that's a really good year.
Yeah.
Filled with a lot of memorable moments.
Mm-hmm.
At Kentucky, we consider that a failure, or at least a disappointment. This team's going to provide some great moments. Again, last year they provided some great moments. The first year of Mark Pope, there were many great moments. They beat, 8 top 15 teams?
Yeah.
Mark Pope has won more ranked games, or just as many, I think, ranked games in his 2 seasons than Kentucky had won the previous 4 to 5 seasons combined. Yeah, there have been plenty of good moments in the last 2 years, but we don't just celebrate regular season wins at Kentucky and consider that a good year. So we have to get back to competing for championships, competing for titles. And the baseball team, Daniel, they're competing for titles, competing for championships, competing for winning their region, nearly so close to 3 out of the last 4 years being able to play in a super regional. We talked about the game on Friday, Kentucky leading 9-6, 3 outs away, and you just knew when it didn't go their way, especially when the ball left the park to give West Virginia an 11-9 lead. I kind of knew then they probably weren't winning this region. They get down 5-1 yesterday. I went outside and just started shooting basketball. Kept my headphones in so I could listen to the game, but I was listening just so that I could be prepared for the rapid reaction we were going to do later. I wasn't listening because I still had hope. But this Kentucky team showed a lot of fight, able to battle back, get it to extras, and I really thought, was it the 10th inning or was it the 9th? I think it was the 10th with Tyler Bell up, that with runners in scoring position with a chance to take the lead, and I thought this is the chance to Tyler Bell has done so much for this program, done so much for this team, and if he had been healthy all year, maybe things would be different. But I thought this is his chance right here to put his name into Kentucky history, and it is what it is. I thought Kentucky was going to get a run across the plate there. Unfortunately, they did not. West Virginia did, and that's the end of the season. Daniel, how do you look at this year's season and how it finished?
I mean, based on the expectations that everyone had for them coming into this year, it's definitely disappointing, especially last year after the Clemson Regional when Minge was like, this is a College World Series team coming back. This is a super regional team. And like you touched on, the Tyler Bell injury definitely kind of derailed things at the beginning of the year, shifting guys around. The pitching just wasn't as good as it should have been this year, all year long. Ben Cleaver, I thought, would take a leap to be one of the SEC's best arms. Didn't quite do that. Nate Harris's sophomore season was a little disappointing. But at the end of the day, they made it into the tournament. They won their first 2 games. And then that third game, up 9-6, no outs. Caden Cloud at third for the second consecutive game. Ran over that ball, made that error. And you're like, oh man. You just knew what was coming. You knew what was coming after that. And then you have the balk and the bases loaded walk and the home run. And it's like after a game like that, odds are not very good that you're going to win that next game. And I lost all hope too. They were down 5-1. You're like, man, like this, they're just going to go out sad. But then Hudson Brown blasted that thing. And then Hendel and everyone's getting excited again. But it just, I know we talked before. You said that you thought that they were going to come back and win that game. I just did not get the vibes that was ever going to go in our way.
Even when it was tied?
No, they had the momentum. They had the momentum, and then they could have built on it the inning after that. I believe I believe they had maybe 2 on. I can't remember.
They did, yes.
But they had a chance to keep that momentum going, and then they didn't. And I'm like, well, that's it.
Yeah.
That right there is it.
When they didn't get that run across, I thought the same thing.
They didn't get that run across. And then I did believe in the 10th Tyler Bell was going to redeem himself for that missed tag earlier because that's what won the game.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
That won the game on that stupid pass ball. And I thought that he'd redeem himself, did not. And then when they go to the bottom of the 10th and Guzman's up, he won the game last year for him. I'm like, man, like with him and Gavin Kelly up, you knew like it was probably wraps, and it was. So unfortunately,
very close to making that catch in center field, and unfortunately, by diving for it and going, I mean, which I would want him to do. It feels like West Virginia is probably going to score anyway. I wonder if they send the runner if he keeps it in front of him, or if they maybe get a play at the plate, which would have been big as well. But I was fine with him going all out to try to make that catch.
Oh yeah,
try to hold the runner, because if he makes it, I don't know where the runner was at on second. You may have been able to double him up if he was already on his way to third. But really this team, and I talked to Adam Luckett, who spent the last 7 days in Morgantown. I said this team probably should have been so much better. The record, I don't think, indicates how much talent was at least in the batting lineup. Obviously the bullpen had tons of issues all year, but the way that they would lose games was just so frustrating. And it almost sums it up perfectly, the way that the last 2 games ended. Yeah,
there's no doubt. And while I'm here, I want to go on a little bit of a tangent because I saw this.
Yeah, it's yours.
I saw this conversation on social media last night and the day before. Nick Mingione should be Kentucky baseball's head coach until he decides not to be. I hate this. He's like a victim of his own success. Minges. Before, I believe 2017, Kentucky baseball maybe made 3 NCAA tournament appearances. And now they've made, five regionals in the last 5 years, 4 regionals, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you come this close to last year and this year getting the more super regionals. First ever Men's College World Series appearance in 24. A great recruiting class coming in next year. The talent that is coming through this program has never come through this program. Ryan Waldschmidt is starting left field for the Arizona Diamondbacks right now. That's a guy that Minge went and got out of the portal. Ryan Nicholson, all these guys coming up. Tyler Bell was a second-round pick for the Tampa Bay Rays and turned that down to come play for Nick Mingione at UK. Last night, post-game, Minge is sitting there. His players love him. This is a player-led program. Last year, the year before, every single year their season comes to an end. These guys love their coach. And that is kind of hard in today's day and age of NIL and recruiting because you'll butt heads over money and playing time. I know maybe there's been a few instances of guys that don't like Minge on the way out or whatever, and things just didn't go their way. But the overwhelming majority, you see so much support from these former players and these guys for him. The amount of success that he's leading Kentucky baseball to right now is unprecedented. And I've told this story before. I'm not sure if it was on one of the shows or not. But when I took over the beat in 23, I went into that season thinking, man, I might be following a coaching search this year. And instead of that, that team, which was full of just transfers and guys no one ever heard of, Hunter Gillum, Grant Smith, Devin Burks, went to the Super Regional and lost to LSU. The year after that, reload with all these transfers. Who is Ryan Waldschmidt? He comes from Charleston Southern. Who is Ryan Nicholson? We don't know who these guys are. And they go all the way to the College World Series, win a game on the walk-off. Then last year, that team goes to the goes to the regional final and loses. This year, goes to the regional final and loses. Like, that might be disappointing for what you expected this season, but that's better than anything that's ever been happening for this program.
Yeah.
And I've seen people compare this to Mark Stoops.
The
last 2 years of Mark Stoops were inexcusable. The talent wasn't coming in there. The transfers weren't coming in there. He was misfiring all over the place, mismanaging NIL. You're bringing in these quarterbacks in like, what's the vision for? There was no vision for the program under him. It was stale. Things were stale. Firing Mingione is not going to change anything.
Oh, he's not.
There might need to be some positional or some coaching changes. I really like Dan Rosell, but man, that pitching staff really underperformed this year.
Mhm.
So maybe there needs to be a conversation there. But all these burners and whatever accounts on Twitter that are like, Nick Mingione is coaching for his job tomorrow night. In no world was Nick Mingione coaching for his job. As long as he keeps making regionals and then he'll break through to another super regional, probably break through to another College World Series with the NIL that the program's getting and the reputation that they're getting from putting guys in the MLB now, that dude will be here as long as he keeps winning. Like, I mean, if you put up seasons where you're missing the tournament 2 or 3 years in a row, yeah. But that's not the scenario that we're in now. So, nope. It's hard to say no coach is safer than Nick Mingione because it's not true at UK. But he's up there. Like, he's more than safe. Obviously, we haven't seen Will Stein. Mark Pope, I got a lot of haters last year, but he's still the correct guy to lead the program, in my opinion. There is absolutely no way that Nick Mingione should be on the hot seat. People shouldn't be saying that and it's not true. That's my tangent. I've been wanting to let that go. So that's it right there.
You know, part of this season was salvaged by Kentucky winning 2 games in the region. They lost 18 SEC games. And we all know the SEC in baseball is pretty dominant. That's why Kentucky was able to get in. I think that this feels like 2018 Kentucky basketball. You didn't really deserve to make a Final Four.
Yeah.
Now, Kentucky didn't sneak into the tournament that year. They won the SEC tournament, so they were getting an auto bid anyway. But I think they got like a 4 or 5 seed. Of course, the 1 seed loses, just like UCLA lost the team they thought they were going to have to go all the way out to LA for the Super Regional. That didn't happen. If they would have won last night or won Sunday, now I believe they would have hosted Cal Poly. And is that true, Daniel?
I believe so. I know there was conversation about.
I saw that too.
Threes about what game times and if there was a 10 p.m. Eastern slot and Cal Poly would have slotted better for that. But I do believe UK probably would have got that just because they would have got more crowd, bigger crowd, more.
That's true.
All that stuff.
And we would have liked Kentucky's chances in that series. And then if they would have won that, I think the way the bracket worked out, they would have played the winner of Troy. And is it Troy and Little Rock?
Yeah.
For it to make it to as far as they made it the last time they were in the College World Series with the daily walk-off we play every day on here. So that's what's disappointing is that you left such a good opportunity on the table. Maybe Jackson Jelkin should have thrown on Sunday. I don't know. I mean, there's probably a reason that he didn't throw him. I don't know. I mean, I think if he was good to go, I would have assumed. I was shocked West Virginia threw their guy yesterday who had already thrown 100-something pitches the day before. So that's what's disappointing, but I totally agree with you. This was not a great season, but it certainly was not a season where Nick Mingione's job is on the line or anything.
Absolutely not. And it's I mean, in this day and age of college athletics, like college sports, like fans are impatient. You have two years of losing in the regional and people want change. But like I said, this program has never done that before. They've never been a consistent regional team. And as long as Minja is doing that and he's bringing, like we talked on last Kentucky basketball season, he's bringing moments and big wins that they just haven't ever had for Kentucky baseball. So, yeah, I'm with you. There's no world where people should think that about him.
Daniel, appreciate you coming on. Daniel Hager, follow him on Twitter at Daniel Hager on 3. One final thing. Any final thoughts, Daniel, before we go to break?
I'm just glad I can be excited for Kentucky basketball.
There we go. We got to end on a positive.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Daniel, thank you for joining us. We'll be right back. We'll have Brandon Ramsey joining us. When we come back, you're on Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio.
A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good time and your laughter.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Greg Coates Cars and Trucks. I'm Tammy Coates.
And I'm Buren Coates. Did you know Greg Coates Cars and Trucks is your one-stop shop for your next certified pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV?
for less?
And when the competition says no, we say yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
For swing into the action at Park Mammoth Golf Club, a breathtaking and challenging course just off I-65 in Park City, Kentucky. Stay in the know with the Park Mammoth Golf Club app. Get course updates, special offers, GPS, gift cards, and easy tee time bookings. After your round, unwind at the Mammoth Grill where delicious food meets stunning course views in our brand new clubhouse. Visit parkmammothgolfclub.com and experience the best in golf today.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank, time to thrive. Member FDIC.
The plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC technicians of Local 502's commitment to excellence can be seen in our community every day. The KFC Yum Center, Ford Motor Company, and the Omni Hotel are just a few examples of their professional craftsmanship. Local 502 has been part of our community for over a century and invests over $1 million annually training skilled local workers. Members of Local 502 are your friends, neighbors, and children's coaches. For more information, go to lu502.com. Local 502, built on excellence, building a better tomorrow.
Cards fans, looking for a competitive advantage in today's data-driven world? Look no further than earning your master's in business analytics from the University of Louisville in just 12 months. There's no previous coding experience required. Delve into the world of analytics and data visualization, learning essential tools like R, Python, Power BI, machine learning, and more. These classes are now available both online and in person. To get started or to learn more, visit business.louisville.edu/U of L MSBA today.
Your next company or group outing is waiting with Louisville Bats Baseball. With options to fit any budget, Louisville Slugger Field is the perfect place to host your group's event. From suites to all-you-can-eat areas to simply enjoying a night out together, let a Bats group representative help you plan the perfect night at the ballpark. There's no better place to connect with clients or enjoy time out of the office with the team. Games are filling up fast. To get started on your outing, contact a real person at 502-212-BATS or visit batsbaseball.com.
Scripture reminds us there's no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends. Today we honor the brave men and women who have served our country, those who came home and those who did not. To our veterans and the families who stand beside them, we thank you and we honor your legacy. At Owen Funeral Homes, it's our calling to help every family member be honored with sincere service, compassion, and respect. Please visit us at owenfuneralhome.com.
Indiana Fever basketball.
Cunningham tosses it in to Hines Allen to Caitlin for the tie. Yes!
Catch the fever.
Caitlin near the logo launches a three, buries it.
The Indiana Fever.
CC eyes the rim, dribbles left, shoots over area fed. It's good.
Follow the Indiana Fever all season long.
I gotta have more fever.
On the Big X Sports Radio.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Greg Coates Cars and Trucks. I'm Tammy Coates.
And I'm Buren Coates. And this is Teddy Coates.
For over 60 years, we've made it fun to buy a car.
We are family friendly and dog friendly.
And remember, you can afford it. Yes, you can at Greg Coates Cars and Trucks.
Tell me now, baby.
Welcome back to Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. I'm Stephen Peak, and we are joined now by KSR's Brandon Ramsey on a big day for Kentucky basketball. Brandon, Milan Momcilovic is a Kentucky Wildcat, and make sure, I thought I hit the mute button there for a second. We're trying something new today, guys. If you're listening to us on the radio, on 96.1 or 1450. We are live on KSR's YouTube channel for the very first time, Brandon, you and I are kind of used to this, but this is a whole new deal over here, and excited to have you here. Brandon joins us basically every Tuesday for Takeover Tuesday, the KSR Takeover Tuesday that I've branded. Brandon, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Woke up refreshed, rejuvenated from a late night of watching Milan Momcilovic film. I got home from a Indiana All-Star event at about 10:15, thinking I was gonna jump right into bed and have a nice chill night, and instead I stayed up for the next 3 hours just watching all 136 made threes of Milan Momcilovic from last season, and it was a lot of fun. And then I've been writing about it today. This is my first of 5 shows over the next 24 hours that I'm gonna be on, getting to talk about this. But yeah, it's an exciting time as a Kentucky fan, because as you and I have talked about on this show and on other shows and in text threads, whatever, this had to happen in order for Kentucky to have, even a chance to have the sort of season that we expect to have next year. And credit to Coach Pope and everybody else involved. They got it done.
That it had to happen. It had to happen. I said yesterday that while this wouldn't guarantee a pink slip for Mark Pope, we were going to get to April and there may have needed to be a decision made. I didn't think without Milan Momcilovic that we could expect anything other than just another average season. And I know it seems like it's one guy. How could it make that big of a jump? Well, I actually think he does, because he checks a couple boxes. Am I crazy for thinking this takes Kentucky from an unranked team to well within the top 15?
No, absolutely not, because he really is that sort of player. I look at this through a few different lenses. First and foremost, he's obviously an excellent player in and of himself. This guy was the leading scorer, averaging 16.9 points per game on an Iowa State team that not only, kicked our rear end and knocked us out of the NCAA tournament, but also was essentially a top 10 team all season long. That's pretty darn good when you can steal the leading scorer from a top 10 team. Obviously, he is also the premier three-point shooter in all of college basketball. That was one of the questions going into 2026, 2027 about this Kentucky roster up until this point. And adding a guy like him, like I said this on Twitter earlier, it very literally immediately takes it wouldn't have mattered if it was Kentucky, Louisville, St. John's, whoever he would have picked, immediately would have became one of the best three-point shooting teams in college basketball. That's how much of an impact he has, because this is a guy that's, he made 136 threes. I saw somebody else put on Twitter either late last night or early this morning. That's more threes than Kobe Bryant and Ansley Almanar made combined at Kentucky.
Yeah, I saw that. That's wild.
But it's an insane number. Those are two elite shooters, two guys that we liked a lot in Kentucky uniforms, and he made more threes than those guys combined. And you and I and Zach Gagan were joking earlier today in our text group, the one good thing, obviously, I don't want him to have any regression. Heck, I hope he makes 150 threes next year. But the good news is he can have semi-significant regression and make 100 threes at 45%. He can still be elite even with not doing what he did last season at Iowa State. And then also he makes everybody else on this team better. The ball dominant playmaking guards of Zoom Diallo and Alex Wilkins, those guys now have more open driving lanes to get to the basket, because they're not elite shooters. That guys can sag off of them a little bit more, but now that those driving lanes are going to be a lot more open. If somebody does collapse into help, now all of a sudden you're kicking it out to the best three-point shooter in college basketball. This gives Malachi Moreno more one-on-one opportunities in the post instead of getting double teamed. When he's operating kind of as the hub of Kentucky's zoom action, it probably gets him an extra assist a game, because he's either going to be able to hit somebody on a back cut because they're overplaying Momcilovic, or he's going to come off of a handoff like he did a million times at Iowa State and make a three. So that this really does incrementally it gets Cam Williams more open shots. It takes pressure off of Braden Hawthorne and Usman Njai and some of these guys that may or may not be ready on day one. They don't have to be now. It really 1 through 13 of the other guys on the roster just got better, along with adding an all Big 12 piece to this roster.
I think that's what they were missing last year. If you had a great shooter on last year's team, that is probably a team that can go 14-4 in the SEC. Yeah, it doesn't win it, but that's the difference in several seed lines at least. And it's just here's a good question here from Dougie Hudson. I was actually going to get to this. This is on the KSR YouTube channel. We'll call it the Game Day Men's Health comment section on the YouTube video. But he asked, what would starting five be? And the starting five now, Brandon, that looks really good. I mean, that's a solid starting five. I wonder, who do you put it at the four? Because Momcilovic, I'm guessing, is going to play the three. Obviously, you have Zoom Diallo at the 1, Wilkins at the 2, Momcilovic at the 3.
So I think you have a couple options here. Like what I'm actually probably leaning towards, at least in my head, would be to start Milan at the 4 and have Cam Williams start at the 3, obviously with the 2 guards in the backcourt and Malachi. Now your other option, obviously, is to slide Milan to the 3 and then have, in my opinion, Justin McBride probably as the 4, but potentially Usman Njai, if he really is ready and able to play right away, then one of those 2 guys could be your starting 4-man with Milan at the 3. I kind of like the idea of just being super skilled, going a little bit smaller and playing him at the 4. But I think the good news is that either way, whichever way you lean, you have a lot of versatility in those lineups, because then you have multiple guys that can really shoot it, some guys that can dribble, some guys that can pass, all that good stuff. And either way, you have a guy either in Cam Williams or in Justin McBride who I expect to be major contributors to this team. One of those 2 guys is going to be coming off the bench now. And again,
Yes.
that's just part of making this team better with the addition. Anytime you add your best player to the roster and it shifts everybody else down a rung, that's a really good way to get substantially better in a hurry when everybody else, your 6th man becomes your 7th man and your 5th man becomes your 6th man. That's how you make kind of exponential leaps with just one roster move.
I think there's a lineup that maybe would not be the best defensively, but that would really punish teams on the offensive end. And that's Zoom Diallo at the 1, Wilkins at the 2, Cam Williams at the 3, Momcilovic at the 4, and then you throw in Malachi at the 5.
Yeah,
who I think Malachi, and from talking to Michael right before the season ended, I think you're going to see Malachi Marino step out and take a few more threes this season. You could have a situation where you have 5 guys on the floor that you got to go out and at least get a hand up if they got the ball outside the 3-point line. So I know that doesn't sound like the lineup that's going to shut anyone down on defense, but I really like it as an offensive lineup.
100%. Yeah. And that's something, I've halfway tongue in cheek talked about it, through each of Zach and I's Zoom action breakdown shows on the KSR YouTube channel. Every single time we kind of rave about some of these additions offensively. We're certainly going to do that when we record the Milan Momcilovic episode tomorrow. And then, every single time at the end of the episode, he'll ask me, all right, Brandon, what about them defensively? And my honest answer has been, quite honestly, I don't care. Like, yeah. I mean, obviously I do care. I want them to be good defensively. But my point is, the reason you hired Mark Pope to be your basketball coach is to have an elite offense.
Yep.
And we had that in year 1. And guess what? We were a pretty darn good basketball team.
A lot of
we
fun.
were probably a couple injuries away from being even better.
Yep.
And then in year 2, in my opinion, I think he kind of overcorrected a little bit. And obviously injuries were a part of it once again, but there was kind of an overcorrection. And now all of a sudden you were the 40th best offensive team, according to Ken Palm. And we weren't as good. Like as long as Mark Pope is our basketball coach, whether that's for 1 more year, 5 more years, or 10 more years, I want to turn out top 10 offenses on a year-to-year basis, and then you just kind of figure it out on the defensive end of the floor to the best of your ability. But yes, is this team going to be very good defensively? I have some concerns. Having Malachi in there as a rim protector is a pretty good starting point, and I think some of these other guys, athletically and with some strength, can maybe be better than what we think defensively. But no, I don't expect them to be a great defensive team. But right now, especially with the addition of Milan Momcilovic, I think the ceiling is for them to be one of the best offensive teams in college basketball next year.
And I think too, I didn't leave out Justin McBride, but if you throw him in at the 4, I forget he's a 40% 3-point shooter also. So, you were going to have, there should not be a lack of shooting on this team as there was last year. They should have, and I know one person messaged here on the YouTube chat saying that Malachi better not be stepping out and shooting threes. I don't need him taking 4 a game or anything like that. But I think we watched his jump shot improve drastically over the course of last season. I mean, there was a time he'd go to the free throw line and you were lucky if he got one.
Right.
And he really improved in that area. I expect him. His brother was one of the best shooters in the OVC, one of the best shooters in Eastern Kentucky history. So I think he's worked with them a little bit in this offseason. And Malachi, as Zach Gagan pointed out on one of your all shows, I believe, that he has gotten so much better from just his sophomore year to junior year in high school, and his junior year to senior year in high school,
right,
and then his senior year to freshman year in college. So if he can just make another decent step up, I think Kentucky could have I'm not predicting them to win the SEC or even go to a Final Four, but I am saying that they should be competing for both of those things with this roster, assuming that they stay healthy. Here's a text in the Game Day Men's Health text line. One, it says, the war is over, Peak. I think that's in regards to just the fan base, everybody getting behind it. Brandon, it has been so refreshing today to get on Twitter and just see Kentucky fans celebrating. We just haven't done a whole lot of that. I mean, I was very excited about the Alex Wilkins pickup and excited about some other ones too, but this seems to be the one that has gotten everybody back on board. The Pope criticisms and the haters have been silenced, at least momentarily. And it's nice to see the fan base all getting behind the team again. So I was worried about that going in. I said a couple weeks ago, I was like, I don't care what this team looks like. You're not going to have me come in here and do doom and gloom radio and talk poorly about this until it's warranted. And I was prepared to get behind this team no matter what. But now we can really get behind it and we can dream. Is this now a team that can contend for a Final Four, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that you're at least knocking on that door. Like, maybe you're in the tier behind that clear group of 8 to 10 Final Four contenders, and I haven't dove into the entire landscape of college basketball enough to really stake my claim to that fully. But 100%, I think that there's not going to be 15 rosters better than Kentucky's when the 2026-2027 season tips off. So, does that make you a Final Four contender? Probably so, in my opinion, to some extent. I think you're certainly right there, and you're probably one or two guys kind of breaking right from really being in that group. Like if Alex Wilkins can very cleanly transition from mid-major basketball to high-major basketball and showcase some of that star potential that we all believe he has, and maybe grow into that sort of year one Walter Clayton role at Florida, then yeah, I think Kentucky can be really good. If Malachi Moreno takes that leap to being a borderline lottery pick like we all believe is possible as a sophomore in Lexington, then that's how Kentucky takes that next step towards being a Final Four contending team. Obviously, just staying healthy, as you alluded to just a minute ago, is going to be a huge part.
Yeah, it's just
that
we cursed like the entire athletic department. I mean, really, if the baseball team even stayed healthy, they may have made a super regional this year again. So yeah, got to stay healthy. We'll get to another text in the Game Day Men's Health text line real quick. Game Day Men's Health, they are redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com, where they're defining a new era in men's health. Also, this is because I've been working since I got up. This might be another Salsaritas day. I do it once a week, Brandon. If I don't eat lunch, I usually make the trip over to Salsaritas. Usually I do this when I'm in at the radio station and not in the home studio. But you can check out their 3 locations. I might be checking out one of them, the Bullitt County one, maybe today, maybe Middletown. But there's also St. Matthews. Get some wildly addictive chips. There's also a fly that's buzzing around my face this whole time, and it's kind of driving me crazy. Where were we? We're talking Kentucky basketball. Right. This one texter into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Share your thoughts. Where do you think Kentucky is now that they've landed Milan Momcilovic? This texter says, even if Milan regressed and shot 40% from 3, it'd still be worth it. We mentioned that 100%. And here's another one, Brandon. This texter brings up something that I've been saying now for, months, I guess, at this point. I think people might be sleeping on Braden Hawthorne. I'm not expecting him to come in and be an All-American or be a first round draft pick, but he has to be good, right? In order for, as the texter says, in order for Kentucky to offer his brother a scholarship, like they must see something in Braden Hawthorne that makes me think he could be special.
Yeah, to me, he's one of the clear wild cards on this roster. Probably him and Usman and Njai, in my opinion, are the two guys that have the kind of run the largest gamut between if you're looking at the spectrum of outcomes, like essentially not being good enough to play and being a really darn good player, like both of those guys could be anywhere on that spectrum, and it wouldn't really shock me. And yeah, I think that, we have to remember that Braden Hawthorne shot all the way up to like being a top 40 prospect in that class a couple of years ago. There's a reason why you go get him and identify his talent and think he's a guy that can come in and help you. B, use a redshirt year and allow him to be around everybody. You're putting him into practice situations. You're spending and investing a ton of time in individual workouts and all these people working with him throughout an entire year to get him better. Then, because there's a lot of intrigue around him, like it cost them some resources to keep him in Lexington. There were other places that I think were probably going to offer him a clearer path towards a bigger role, playing right away, whatever it may be, and he chose to stay here. Kentucky invested to make sure he stayed here, including with taking on his brother. And yeah, I think that means that they clearly see a vision towards him being a productive player, and that would just be one more athletic, long 6'8", 6'9" skilled wing to add to this roster. And to me, if you can get really much of anything out of him, but certainly if he's a guy that can move the needle and really press up into that 6, 7, 8 man rotation, then to me that's again another way where this team's ceiling starts to raise even maybe one floor more.
I just needed to be able to go into the season with some expectations, because for a while we didn't know if we were going to be able to do that. And that is why I think everybody's just, we got a text here from Patrick Murphy. It's a joyous day for Kentucky men's basketball. And he also mentions Malachi and Milan getting M&M's deals. M&M's NIL deal.
Let's do it.
Yeah, might as well. M&M, like if they go on a run, don't miss out on that opportunity. Maybe
M&M and M&M's. We could get them in a rap song and get them some candy.
Exactly. I've been waiting for M&M to put out a Kentucky basketball anthem, so that would be awesome. Wisconsin guy Carrico says, yeah. First off, he says, "You awake, Trevor?" Trevor's producing back there. We're going to try to get him to be on this a little bit. But it's just difficult because of how we got it set up. This is our first time doing this, so Trevor's Kelsey, the new producer at Kentucky Roll Call. It was fun talking to him yesterday. He'll be on here. We're going to work that out. He's also said fans of everything are less patient and more hateful. Sadly, it's a sign of the times. This at least, Brandon. I talked with Daniel Hager just a few moments ago about this. Quieting the haters on social media. Kentucky was having a little bit of a marketing problem. I think this, like I said, gets everybody back on board, and more importantly, gets the right kind of hype and a little bit of anticipation around the basketball program. And I wondered if they didn't get him, if they have a bad season. There's one of the reasons you couldn't bring Pope back is because the negativity was just going to be so bad that stuff kind of does hurt when you're trying to reel players in. Do you agree with that?
Well, and it 100% hurts in the NIL era, because there's a lot of people with deep pockets that, if their money isn't going towards winning basketball games, football games, whatever it may be, then that well starts to dry up. And usually before it dries up, you kind of decide, well, hey, let's kind of nip this in the bud and maybe let's get some excitement by changing who's in charge. And we obviously saw that back in the fall with the football program, or in the winter with the football program. And then, we saw it at the end of the Coach Calipari era. Now, maybe you've righted the ship a little bit here going into year 3 of the Coach Pope era. But yeah, you and I, Stephen, I think, we're both very we romanticize sports quite a bit, I think. And we're very, pretty dramatic sometimes in our fandom. But I think, and I always say this, like, obviously I love when Kentucky wins basketball games, football games. I love competing for championships and that energy in the buildings and all that kind of stuff. But in my opinion, one of the greatest things about being a sports fan is the anticipation. Like, I like waking up on a Saturday and, tailgating and like having I wonder what will happen tonight in the football game. Like, even if we're playing Alabama and I know deep down we probably are going to lose, like, it hasn't happened yet. Like, I love the anticipation of maybe winning the game. And I think that that's such a big part of what happened here with getting Milan Momcilovic, because we've talked about it, how, so many of our conversations about this next basketball season were like, you're trying to be optimistic. You're talking yourself into Zoom Diallo, some of these different things, but we all knew it wasn't going to be where it needed to be. And that's a really stinky place to be, especially as a Kentucky fan, where expectations are so high. Like, when you just kind of know it's not going to be up to snuff, it's hard to get super excited as a fan. And now, yeah, you might not still win a championship. You might not even compete for. I mean, heck, maybe we'll get upset in the first round. That's the way the NCAA tournament goes sometimes. But at least I can sit here on June 2nd, again tomorrow on June 3rd, a few months from now on November 3rd, and I can be really excited about the upcoming Kentucky basketball games. And I think that is a huge, huge turning point in this offseason that, quite frankly, until about 10 p.m. last night, had been a generally pretty darn negative offseason for Kentucky basketball that completely turned on its head with one Milan Momcilovic's decision last night.
That's true. Right before we go to break, I just want to go through this. There's a couple of texts that we got in. Just as I say, everybody's being positive and everybody's fired up that Kentucky basketball has something to look forward to.
Who's raining on the parade?
And a couple people actually said, I still don't have expectations because Pope will find a way to lose 10 games, but I am over the moon to beat U of L for this guy. Now, first of all, first thing I got to say is I don't know that Louisville has ever beaten Kentucky for a recruit, one that Kentucky really wanted. I was trying to go through the last 20 so years of Kentucky basketball recruiting, and when they went head to head with Louisville, Kentucky wins almost every time. So they continue their dominance over Louisville in recruiting in that regard. Mark Pope has lost 10 games or more than 10 games the last 2 seasons. That is true. He's always lost 10 games, as a matter of fact, as a head coach. I don't know necessarily that would have happened if guys weren't injured.
Right.
I think every time we talk about the Mark Pope era so far, we have to mention that he has had some of the worst injury luck I have ever seen for any team ever in 2 seasons.
Absolutely. Yeah. The injuries are really marred in these first 2 years and made it hard to really evaluate him as a coach, because quite frankly, I think that he probably, all things considered, has almost overachieved in some ways, given the amount of injuries that he's had to deal with. Like, getting to a Sweet 16 and round of 32 with these last couple of rosters, I don't think was an easy task for him, and winning some of the big games that he has. And yes, there's been some stinkers and some, really frustrating performances along the way, but he's also had some of the most exciting wins of recent memory with these Kentucky teams. So I really hope, if nothing else, we get a fully healthy season with this roster, just to finally get to actually properly critique him as a head coach.
Yes, exactly. 100%. Brandon Ramsey, thank you so much for coming on again this Tuesday at BRamseyKSR on Twitter. Give him a follow and check out Zoom Action. They'll be breaking down Momcilovic's game. Is that going to be this week, next week?
I think we're doing it tomorrow.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. There you go. Tomorrow on this YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, it will be here. So tomorrow, look for that live Zoom Action, breaking down the Momcilovic commitment and what he's going to bring to Mark Pope's offense. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we will talk to Nick Roush, joining the airwaves of Kentucky Roll Call once again. We'll be right back here on Big X Sports Radio.
Tell me now, baby, is it good to you? And can he do to you the things that I do?
Hey there, New Albany. This is Mayor Jeff Gahan. It's another year here in our River City, and what better time to show your support for our high school's athletic programs. Whether it's basketball or football, track and field or soccer, swimming or tennis, our Bulldogs are giving it their all on the field and court. So let's rally behind them, New Albany. Come out to the games, cheer them on, and let's make some noise. Let's show everyone what it means to be a part of the best city in Southern Indiana. Go Bulldogs.
If you've been hurt in a car accident or hurt on the job, there's only one law firm to call. call my friend Tony at the Collier Law Firm at 502-736-8141. Tony will get you paid. This guy used to work for the insurance company, so he knows the other team's playbook. Tony's a diehard Cardinal fan. His family's from Portland and Shively, and he grew up in Fern Creek. With that combination, you know this man can fight and win. In an accident or hurt on the job, call Collier Law Firm. That's Colyer Law Firm. Call today.
Creamer Smoke Shop, your one-stop smoke shop since 1914. We've got the largest cigar selection, wooden pipes, and loose and tinned pipe tobacco. Right off 64 and 71 at 1839 Brownsboro Road. Call 502-584-3332.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Defining a new era in men's health, Game Day Men's Health delivers real results. No shortcuts. From testosterone replacement, weight loss, to peptides, vitamins, and sexual performance therapy, they will have you covered. From their in-house lab that gives you answers in just 15 minutes in our clinic that is designed for men who value speed, privacy, and most importantly, results. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Real men, real science, real change. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Calling all young golfers. The PGA Junior League at Old Capitol Golf Club is the perfect way to learn the game, make new friends, and compete in a fun, team-based environment. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, our PGA Junior League is coached by PGA professionals, helping kids build confidence on and off the course. Join the team and experience golf like never before. Sign up today at Old Capitol Golf Club and let's tee it up. Visit oldcapitalgolf.com to register now.
Louisville's longest-running pro sports team is back. Louisville Bats Baseball at Louisville Slugger Field. Family-friendly entertainment at budget-friendly prices. See future Cincinnati Reds in action. To plan your day at the ballpark, visit batsbaseball.com.
Check the backseat.
All right, come here.
Check the backseat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When design is key to your landscape project, give Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge has more experience than any landscape company in the area. Remember, Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design. When design is key to your project and you want the most experienced landscaping company in the area. Give Walnut Ridge a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design. When design is key.
Spice up your office parties and home get-togethers with Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill. Enjoy real, fresh food, including their famous craveable queso and chips. Catering is available for delivery, setup, or pickup. Call now. Salsaritas.
Check the backseat.
All right, come here.
Check the backseat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Absolutely gorgeous this afternoon. Nice little breeze as well coming in from the northeast at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, ushering in that drier and cooler flow coming in from Canada today. Temperature right around 80 degrees, but much of the day will be spent in the 70s. Tonight, we drop in the 50s. Fairly cool setup that will continue into early on your Wednesday. For the Wave Storm Tracking Team, I'm Brian Good.
This is Dugan Ryan. I would love the opportunity to talk with you about how we can help grow your business and have your business's brand associated with Big X Sports Radio. Give me a call today at 812-725-1457.
Welcome back to Kentucky Roll Call.
I think we ain't done yet. You personally? I think we ain't done yet.
With Walker and Peak.
Well, welcome back to Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. I'm Stephen Peak. It's KSR Takeover Tuesday here. We are live on KSR's YouTube channel. You can join us over there. Get involved in the comment section. We are joined now by KSR's and former Kentucky Roll Call co-host Nick Roush. Nick, we're doing this on KSR YouTube today.
I know, it's fancy. You're flexing your YouTube muscles. Look at you.
Yeah, we got some graphics, and under yours, I want to talk to you about obviously about Milan Momcilovic, but also some Kentucky football stuff. First of all, just That's all I feel like I can talk about right now today. I've had several phone calls from like family and friends that are just so excited for Kentucky basketball. I feel like part of me wants to temper those expectations just a bit.
No,
so why not? Why not? Why lean into it? Like,
not today. Not today. Today is for celebrating. And here's the thing that I don't think the listeners know is that Peak has already done Kentucky roll call, like probably 3 hours worth of it, just talking to people on the phone. Like he's just on the phone with his dad, giving his takes. You're not lacking any passion, any excitement, any energy, and I appreciate that. He waited until you got back from vacation so you could truly empty the clip and get fired up for Milan. Although I will say, there was part of me where like last night it's right 10:15 or so. I just gotten out of the shower. I'm ready to, kind of just melt and ease the night away. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, it's happening. Like we gotta fire it up. And so, but that's what makes it fun, right? You kind of, with some of these decisions, Peak, you remember where you were for them. The most memorable for me was Nerlens Noel, because I was studying in the library ahead of finals week, and it was on ESPN, and like the entire library just started clapping at the same time and cheering. That was, of course, right after we won the national championship. So like the buzz was building, the buzz was high. And this one, it feels like not only is there a sense of excitement, but there almost feels like there's more relief, because I don't know about you, Peak, but there were a couple of times where when folks would ask me how I felt, I was like, pretty good, but I felt like I've been here before and it hasn't gone well. So I do almost think that the relief, I don't want to say outweighs the excitement, but I know a lot of people were able to just finally exhale on Monday night.
Me being one of them. But it was like by the time it got to 9 o'clock, I just assumed this wasn't happening, and kind of we were doing the baseball stuff with Luckett and Jeff Drummond, and so I know that Matt Jones had said on his show yesterday that if he goes to bed on Monday night, nothing's happened, he'll start to be worried. So you better believe that around 10 o'clock last night, I was a little worried that Kentucky was going to miss out on him, because as we talked about throughout the show today, and really the last week or so, if you didn't get Milan Momcilovic, this was going to be a rough basketball season, and one you're really going to have to talk yourself into to be excited about. Do you think
you don't have to do that anymore?
No. I mean, but what are reasonable expectations now? I mean, I've been saying for the last 6 years, Kentucky needs to win something. Is this a team that could possibly get that done? I mean, you get 3 opportunities to win a trophy every year. Can Kentucky pull that off?
Yes, but there's the big bad wolf down in Gainesville who's standing in your way. Now, you might not have to play him down in Nashville, but the thing here is that like there has to be some sort of star power, right? Like going into last Kentucky football season, you actually looked at what Mark Stoops did in the offseason, and they filled a lot of holes. There just wasn't any star power. You can now see where the ceiling is elevated because they have the star power, right? With Momcilovic, with Malachi Moreno. I know Trevor right now is like going, oh, Moreno's not a star, blah, blah, blah. But we've seen Moreno take just jumps year to year throughout his career. And I think really just what happened is he hit a wall towards the end of a long season last year. That's something you can develop your way through, right? So I think having one of the better centers in the SEC, having the best shooter in the country, certainly gets you in that position. And then you've got a couple of creators. That's really, for me, the sort of wild card in all of this, right? Ultimately, the NCAA tournament and postseason play, it's a guards game. So, like, how good can those guys be? Fran Fraschilla, he kind of crapped all over Zoom Diallo like a week or two ago. But Alex Wilkins, he was the guy you see at the small school in the NCAA tournament, and everybody's like, that guy, I want him. Well, they got him. But how good can he be when he's leveling up? and asked to play a different role. Those feel like the guys that are sort of the wild cards for this team that can really elevate the ceiling. And then there's the other part of just this equation that like we have to mention, and I'm hopefully fading this out of existence, Pete. And I'm sure you probably have this in the back of your mind. But what if somebody gets hurt? Because that's,
I mean, of course, that's on my back. It's not in the back of my mind. It's the only thing I'm thinking about right now. Because that's the only way this thing can seriously get derailed.
Because that's your results are your results. That's what you're judged on.
Mm-hmm.
But like you have to admit that Pope has kind of gotten hosed when it comes to that.
We talked about right before you came on, actually.
Yeah, so like you have to dodge that bullet, of course. I will say, if I was going to have a big picture sort of takeaway from this entire experience, like if they didn't get Momcilovic, people would be asking, well, Pope still can't check the box. He can't get big recruits. I do think there was sort of a, like, I'm not saying they, like that box, I'm not checking it yet, right? Because they were fortunate on circumstances in this case. Because it's similar to Matt Ponatoski in football, where they kind of backed their way into that recruitment because he wanted to play baseball and spots were filled up and Kentucky was just right there. Like it just made sense for him. This was very similar where if it wasn't going to be Kentucky, where was it going to be, right?
Was it not going to be Louisville or Arizona?
It was not going to be Arizona. Like nobody, like his misses actually helped him because they had more money to
you're right. Yeah.
So like they really were fortunate because of circumstances. Now, I don't really care. Your team is what your team. It doesn't matter what the circumstances were when he's making 8 threes against Louisville next year. But there is I'm still worried about Mark Pope, the roster builder, even though the roster he built, I think most would grade it out as better than expected. And really, I think the only two, if I had two things, then I think Pope would probably wish the same thing. It would be that he didn't lose Colin Chandler and that he got Rob Wright instead. Even if you got one of those two, you'd probably feel better, but you still feel pretty good. You just have more uncertainties in those backcourt positions moving forward.
So you were not worried about the Donnie Freeman one, I guess, that being the other one that he missed out on.
Yeah, that one's kind of stunk. I don't know. It smelled like I could see that being one that just wasn't going to end up working out the right way. I wasn't as bullish on Freeman as some other folks were.
Well, here's some,
and especially Tyree and Stokes. Like if you told me you get Momcilovic instead of Stokes, I'm 100 times out of 10. I'm taking that. Like that from a player. Like.
I agree with you. I agree that Momcilovic will help Kentucky win next year, maybe better than Tyron Stokes could have. But I do think that Tyron Stokes creates a little bit more interest in your program from some of those.
But I don't care about interest or where they're going to play in the NBA. I care about winning college basketball games. And I don't think Tyron Stokes would have won Kentucky a lot of college basketball games. And I get a lot of hell for just being like some hater. Because, I have some strong takes at times, okay? I'm Big Click Nick after all, right? But, like, Tyron Stokes' best ability is he's a 6'8" point guard. He passes it better than anybody of his size and skill. But, like, that guy, it's almost like his usage rate would need to be at 95%, and I just didn't think he was that good. Like, his shooting ability wasn't great. He bullied his way to a lot of points, and some people were like, oh, my gosh, but he was better than DeBonsta in some games. It's like, well, because they were guarding DeBonsta. Like I had just a very low opinion of Stokes, generally speaking, as a game-changing basketball player. Whereas, like, I know that Stokes will get drafted higher no matter what happens at Kansas next year, even if it's a disaster. He's going to be a lottery pick. Momcilovic won't. But from a pure need and what you can give to a pro, like, think back on Kentucky's best wins, Peak, in Mark Pope's first year.
Okay. Done.
Okay. Who is best player in that Duke game?
Andrew Carr was good. Ortega.
Yep. Andrew Carr was incredible. Now, I know, I'm trying to make a point here, so bear with me. Gonzaga, Andrew Carr was incredible. Who did Kentucky need in that Tennessee game, but he fell flat on his face? Andrew Carr. I think the stretch four is more important than any other position in Pope's offense. I know it's all about the facilitating five, but like a guy who can score on multiple levels and have the ball go through him. That's the thing about Momcilovic too. I know his catch and shoot numbers are great. When you watch these games where he went off, a lot of times he's having to bounce it a couple of times and step back to score. Like I think that what he does is so vital for what Pope wants to do that this is just everything you need, everything you want, and so much more than what you could have gotten than the potential headaches that could have been created with overhype following Tyrann Stokes.
This text into the Game Day Men's Health text line, I want you to respond to it. Most of the texts we've gotten and the comments we've gotten today have been Kentucky fans being excited. They're mostly positive. I even mentioned in the comments section over here on the YouTube channel that it just feels so good that everybody is positive and everybody's smiling and excited, except for a couple people. Here's one of them. Milan's last game against Tennessee, he played 33 minutes with 0 rebounds and 6 points. Good defense will shut him down. I wouldn't get my hopes up too much. Now, my first reaction to that is, well, I mean, Jody Meeks also had bad games. Like, he also was held to 10 points. I pulled up some stats. This is not off the top of my head. He only scored 10 points against Miami of Ohio, shot 2 of 12 from 3, or Miami, not Miami, Ohio, 2 of 12 from 3. Who's another one? Duron Lamb against Tennessee in 2011-12 scored 4 points. He was 1 of 6 and from the 2, 1 from 3. And my point is that are we really going to use one game to discredit how good Milan Momcilovic is?
And the thing you have to remember the context of the Tennessee game. I mean, they didn't have their best player. I guess he would be technically their best player. Is that right? The big guy. I forget his name.
I do too, but yes,
the only physical player that could compete with Tennessee's physicality. I think what you might find a little more concerning is just that some of his best games they lost. Like he had 28, and it was a buzzer beater that Jaden Bradley hit against Arizona, but that was an awesome game. I think his career high was also a loss at Cincinnati, where he had 34 points. Maybe that's something you kind of look closer into. But
why is that?
I don't know.
Is it just bad luck? Like if Milan has a big game, the team can't win. I mean, that game against Cincinnati, he shot 8 of 14 from 3.
Yeah, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I think the overall sentiment, if you look at that Tennessee game, is you do wonder, is the physicality going to impact his game, the physicality of the SEC? The counterpoint that you quickly make is, hey, Big 12 was pretty damn good last year. Like he played well at Kansas, right? Like this is something new, So like, and I think the other thing that you just hope is that first year he didn't, like it's been a steady climb for him, right? Like last year was his big pop. And you just hope that he continues to build on that going forward.
There's no reason that he wouldn't, right? This is the perfect offense for him. And as I mentioned in the previous segment with Brandon, when you go through the starting lineup, if you put Justin McBride, I guess he might play the 4. You got guys 1 through 4 who you can count on to hit a 3-pointer. I mean, this is going back to the Pope offense that we really loved watching in year 1. And that right there is enough reasons to be excited. The thing about the play style from year 1 was just that it was so fun to watch. I enjoyed watching that so much. And now I feel like we get to get back to that. But before I have to let you go, I got to know, we are now 96 days away.
95.
95. See, I've read that the post. I think the post was a day old when I made the graphic. So it said 97 days. All right. So that ignore the lower third if you're watching on YouTube. We are 95 days away from the start of football season. And it feels like 95 days is a long way out, but we got a lot of stuff to get us there. We'll be down in Tampa for SEC Media Days in July. And before we know it, the season will be here. We talk about expectations in basketball, expectations in football. Nick, how much, we talked about this with you before, but should we be tempering expectations, or is UK Rob going to nail it with his 9-3 prediction?
UK Rob's not going to nail it. I don't think he's going to nail it. Now, like, one, I think it's silly to temper preseason football expectations, because what's the point of being a fan? I mean,
well, maybe UK Rob should temper his just maybe a game or two.
Yeah, just a gamer. But like, I can't quite illustrate just how much more fun it's going to be. And I know it's more fun when you win, but just from you go to a style of play, proof of concept, like Kentucky is going to lose because they're being overly aggressive, not because you're punting from the other team's territory in a tie football game, or while you're trailing 3 to the number 1 team in the country. Right, exactly. It's like Matt LaFleur kicking a field goal down 8 to Tom Brady, in the NFC Championship game. Like, why would you do that? They are going to be overly aggressive, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And the other part of all of this is, like, when you see people who just completely crap on Kentucky, it's not like the Mississippi State rebuild from a few years ago when, like, they lost Mike Leach suddenly and then tried to do something different. They basically had to rebuild it wholesale. Mm-hmm. Like, Kentucky has some high caliber football players. I'm not going to make the bet with Trevor. I lost the bet with Trevor that 8 guys were going to get drafted, I think, or 7, and I think only 5 did. But they'll probably have 7 draft picks. Oh, I said 9. I said it was going to be 9 draft picks. They did not get to 9 that year. But they'll probably have 7. 2 on the offensive line. If Willie Rodriguez goes, Henry Boyer, like, they probably have 2 tight ends get drafted and 2 defensive linemen getting drafted. That's 6 right off the jump that I think are no-brainers. And, it depends on Hager and some other guys, like, where if they could get drafted. But, like, Lance Hurd could be a first-rounder. Colton Price could be a day 2 guy as a center. And then, like Tavian Gadsden's first-team All-SEC guy, a defensive tackle. Marquise Humphrey-Grace, that's a ball player. And they also got some guys that were these blue-chip talents that just didn't play last year that are going to get the chance to play now. So, like, there is talent there. They were close a year ago, but they weren't able to score some points. And now they got an offense that should be able to score some points. A lot of it's going to come down to those skill players and just how good they can be.
Did I see a post while I was on my trip that Kentucky was going to be a double-digit underdog in every SEC game, or just about every SEC game?
And the way to explain that, too, is that, like, those numbers are going to change a lot 2 weeks into the season if Kentucky scores points, because they are still factoring in Mark Stoops' offensive output. Like,
oh, wait, what? That's how they do that?
Yeah, like, you have to, when you do power rankings, you have to base it off of history. So, like, even when you have a coaching change, you can't just automatically assume that Will Stein is going to have Oregon. You have, I mean, like, when you, it's math, Peak. Like, if I'm going to try to make a formula,
I guess what's the point of even having these, including those teams in any type of preseason? Like, if that's the way you're going to do it, I would just assume people were looking at who they had on their team, and I didn't realize they were looking at numbers from last season.
No, this is like, it's like the last 5 seasons. Like, it's past production.
Even that doesn't.
Well, it's like the same thing, Peak. When I do horse racing handicapping, and I've seen a horse that hasn't done anything for 3 races in the row, and they look like they stink, but then they win at 25-1, like, that's the whole point of you. That's why you play the game, right?
Well, if you got a new trainer, I guess maybe that might make some sense.
Yeah, and you might adjust slightly, and you probably will adjust slightly. Like, Vegas probably won't be the same exact number as the power rankings in the first few weeks.
I did not know that's how they did it, and honestly, that makes me feel so much better, because I read that, and I guess I just didn't understand it. Or I saw the headline, and I thought, oh, well, that doesn't give me a ton of confidence going into the year.
Well, because think about Missouri. Missouri has won 11 games, I think 3 years in a row for the first time in program history, or 10 games 3 years in a row. They might stink this year. There's a chance they stink. Some of it is a wild card based on what Ahmad Hardy's going to be, because he was the best running back in the SEC and he got shot a couple of weeks ago. You don't know when or what he's going to be. Austin Simmons was the starter at Ole Miss who got his job taken by Trinidad Chambliss. You don't know what he's going to be. So, they're a double-digit favorite now because they've been winning as of late. Part of the reason they've been winning as of late is their SEC schedule was weak the last 2 years. So, my point being, a lot of these games on the schedule, they're gonna look different when they actually get there, right? Tennessee is a team, they might be on Poop Town watch. They might be taking a trip to Poop Town this year. Their best player in the transfer portal, Chaz Coleman, just hasn't shown up for summer workouts. He's an awesome pass rusher. They have a quarterback battle that Tennessee fans were wanting them to go get a transfer because they're not sure if any of these guys are going to be good. George McIntyre was presumed to be the leader after spring practice, but now this other guy who was a 5-star that they recruited out of high school, they're liking him. Those guys might stink. So, point being is by the time these games arrive, the spreads will end up being a little bit closer, and especially if Kentucky looks like they're a team that can put up points on the scoreboard. I actually got to see some of these guys up close and personal, seeing DJ Miller. That guy looks like a ball player. Seeing Nick Anderson, good. Willie Rodriguez, that guy, not going to wear a shirt very often, and I wouldn't either if I was as yoked as that guy. So, this is a good-looking football team, one that just needs to, we'll see how quickly they can come together and gel and create this identity that's in the vision that Will Stein sees in his program.
You're still sticking by the Alabama prediction, I guess.
Oh, yeah. We're not backing down. I put my neck out there. Not backing down from it.
I love it. It's going to be a fun time on State Street. Thank you, Nick Roush. Little Kentucky football talk on a big day for Kentucky basketball. We're going to get Trevor Kelsey's mic working. Maybe we'll work on it during the break here. We're going to take a break. Final segment coming up here on Kentucky Roll Call. We'll have
it, Trevor.
We'll talk with Jeff Drummond when we come back here on Big X Sports Radio. We'll get the mic. We'll get the mic going.
Matt Dennison here, inviting you to join me weekdays at 11 a.m. for the Hoosier Report. Complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, interviews with prominent figures in Kentuckiana sports, and discussion of other sports topics important to Southern Indiana. That's the Hoosier Report with Matt Dennison, weekdays at 11 a.m. on the home for the Hoosiers, 1450 WXVW.
Since 1914, Creamer's Smoke Shop has been your one-stop smoke shop, family-owned and proudly serving Louisville. We offer the largest selection of cigars in the area, plus classic wooden pipes and premium loose and tinned pipe tobacco. Conveniently located right off 64 and 71 at 1839 Brownsboro Road, or call 502-584-3332 to check what's in stock. Creamer's Smoke Shop, your one-stop smoke shop since 1914.
Options. When it comes to insurance, that's exactly what you deserve. I'm Chad Hennessy with InsureMax, and I've been proudly serving the Louisville area for over 25 years. As an independent agent, we work with Auto Owners Insurance to find coverage that fits you, not the other way around. InsureMax delivers strength, service, and peace of mind through partners like Auto Owners Insurance. More choices, more options. Call me, Chad Hennessy, at 502-479-4085.
Attention Hoosier sports fans, a critical shortage of referees is affecting high school sports all across our state.
Without enough officials, JV and freshman games are being rescheduled or canceled. Even varsity sports like softball and soccer are being impacted.
Without officials, student athletes miss the opportunity to learn and grow. Schools don't get the chance to compete. Communities don't have a place to gather as one. That's why we need your help. I'm Brian Lewis, Assistant Commissioner of the IHSAA. and I oversee contest officials in Indiana.
And I'm Dion Smith. I've been officiating high school sports for the IHSA for over 17 years. Without officials, there are no high school sports, period.
Fans, this is it. It's your time to get off the bench and get in the game. Visit IHSA.org and click Become an Official to get started.
Our Hoosier community needs you. Support high school sports in your community by becoming an official. Visit the IHSA.org and click Become an Official today.
Are you feeling self-conscious about hair loss? You can fix that issue today. Whether you're having thinning hair or total hair loss, Hair by Shannon will work with you to find the perfect solution. No surgery, no hassle, just a fresh, natural look you'll love. Hair by Shannon specializes in hair replacement systems that restore your natural look and confidence, with free consultations to help you find the perfect solution. Whether you need a full replacement, emergency service, or just a quick touch-up, Hair by Shannon has you covered with multiple systems and flexible payment options. Plus, as a full-service salon and barber, she offers everything you need to look and feel your best. Take the first step toward the new you and feel more confident. Call 502-572-4487 now, or visit Hair by Shannon on Facebook to schedule your free consultation today. Get the hair you've always wanted at Hair by Shannon, where confidence begins. 502-572-4487.
Honey Baked Ham in New Albany is the perfect spot for a healthy alternative to fast food. They provide a variety of freshly made sandwiches, as well as salads and delicious soups. And you can dine in or take it to go. They also have many dinner options such as ham, turkey, frozen sides, and desserts, which provide a complete meal. Catering is also available for small groups or large gatherings. Call Honey Baked Ham today, 812-941-9426, or visit them, 3602 Northgate Court, Suite 23 in New Albany.
Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. I'm Stephen Peak. We have final segment coming up with Jeff Drummond, who will join us in just a moment. Trevor, I'm going to unmute this, and I'm going to see if we can figure this out, because Jeff will be joining us in about 10 minutes, and we have some stuff to talk about. But right now, I can hear myself.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. Hey, get your text for the game.
Where was this when I could interrupt Nick? Darn it!
I know. I knew we'd figure it out. I probably needed to do this a little earlier on in the show, but we got there, and we'll get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line. Game Day Men's Health, they are redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com, where they're defining a new era in men's health. And also, the 2026 Big X Sports Radio golf cart is by far the best deal in the game, and there's only 20 left. So you're going to have to get yours very soon. But once they're gone, they're gone. You can play Park Mammoth, Old Capitol, Elk Run, Valley View, Wooded View, and Christmas Lake in Santa Claus, Indiana. The card is valued at over $350, and you can purchase yours today for $149. Again, only 20 of those left, so go to BigXSportsRadio.com to get yours today.
You get more golf courses than Nick offers UK draft picks.
You said what year was that he said Kentucky would get 9?
It was the Josh Allen draft.
Oh, okay, so 18.
Which I think you had like 6, I think, maybe. You did, really
They're
well,
pretty,
don't get me
pretty
wrong.
well. Yeah, for Kentucky.
It was the one in Nashville, I remember, because he was covering it. And, again, you did very well, but when he said 9, I'm like, dude, that's like Alabama, Ohio State numbers, dude. I mean, that's real bad. I do remember that show. We had a guest on with us that day, and I can't remember who it was to save my life, but I think it was the guest like in him that were getting riled up, and I was probably throwing a little gas on the fire too at the time, but not me.
We have obviously been talking a lot about Milan Momcilovic, who Kentucky got over the Louisville Cardinals. I'm calling it a win over Louisville.
Did he wait to release it after the Batcat loss though?
It was great timing. If they had won, it would have overshadowed a big night for Kentucky baseball, but since they lost, that was the best time to do it. It immediately lifted the spirits of the fan base.
I actually texted Nick last night about something. I was giving him grief about you not knowing the history of Little Howard and them not teaching.
They didn't teach me anything.
Yeah, and not passing along the torch. And I said that I did not realize Milan had been accepted. So I was like, I know you're not in a good sports mood. And like as soon as I sent it, I go, over to Twitter. I'm like, oh crap, they just signed him as well. So he was excited about that. Obviously, I know you are. I know UK is, and I do love just watching the going from Jimmy Stewart to finding Clarence to being like, we want to be here, screw Pottersville. I mean, it's just I love watching it. Just the swing of emotions, just in the entire 360 within seconds. I mean, while as a UFL fan, I didn't want UK to get him.
Yeah.
But as just a sports fan and just a general fan of human nature, I enjoy. I can't help but enjoy it. It just it does it.
I mean, and I'll talk about this with Jeff Drummond. The now 1 and 2 on I think it was 247's transfer portal rankings is Louisville, then Kentucky. The rivalry is back, Trevor. Basketball matters more to this state than anywhere else, and that is evident in how much money these two schools are spending on their rosters for the 2026-27 season. Hey, Trevor, I sent you a link, and I wanted to talk about this on the show.
Okay, I did see this. I thought you were sending me a song to play or something. Maybe I wasn't sure.
I wanted you to be able to see
spam.
it. This is absolutely insane. I'm going to put it up on the YouTube channel. And yes, we're going to close the show talking about Kentucky basketball, but I need everybody to see this. It's not built yet, but they are working on it. It is a mile-long floating city that's going to, I guess, host 80,000 people. And
Is this where we're going to send when we find the next COVID disease? We're just going to send them everybody here?
I have a feeling a lot of people are going to do this. Yeah.
I mean, is this like a new Australia when it was just like a leper colony or something? I mean,
what
are we?
The water park there is massive. They have a full shopping center. Now it's like cruise ships have some of that, but they're going to have multiple schools on this ship.
You been on a cruise?
I have, yeah.
That's one thing I want on a boat.
It's not. It's fine. I had a good time.
That's good.
But I don't need to do it again. But you're looking at like how massive this thing is. I have it up on the KSR YouTube channel. Scrolling through the photos, there is a stadium on this ship. There is a football, soccer, outdoor stadium.
I mean,
are you kidding me?
I don't know why. I feel like we're setting the plot for like 40 years down the road of the new Titanic movie.
I could imagine 80,000 people on a single ship.
That's again. I have been on a boat once, and I'm not like the Lonely Island group. I don't have a boat, but I went on one in the fourth grade I went on the Belle Louisville in the fourth grade, and that's the first and last time I've only been on a boat.
Really?
Yeah, I'm nothing against boats.
I'm not a big boat guy, but
I guess I just never really. I'm not a fisherman. I just never had a reason to. I mean, no one really wants to go in the Ohio anyway, so I've never really had a reason to be on a boat. I'd like to go on a cruise though. I don't know if I'd go on that one. That one seems a little.
I think people are going to live there, like permanently.
I mean, do they still offer DoorDash? I mean,
well, there is a little spot, and I'll
have a guy like running around the ship, like dropping off food and stuff. I mean, I guess that's called
approaching with your order. It'll take a few days.
I mean, I guess that's a waiter in so way speak. But
if you're watching on YouTube, I'll pull this photo up right here.
Is that a pool?
Yeah. So there's plenty of pools, but this shows how big it is compared to this huge boat, and you can see there's like a parking. We'll call it a parking garage.
So you can park boats on the boat?
Yes, and then you can take the boat out there, and then you can go, I don't know where you go, but I guess you can get on your yacht and
leave the boat and
drive
go
next
into
to
the
it.
ocean.
Yes.
Now, does this have to stay in like international waters, or is this owned by a particular country?
I would love to see this going down the Ohio River at some point. I think that would be great.
Are we going to park it over by the Statue of Liberty, or like can you see like the Hudson River, like this thing coming down? I think they would maybe clog it up slightly. Are we going to use this to clog the Strait of Hormuz? Is that what we're going to do? We're just going to park it there?
It's a mile wide. You have to.
I think that would fill it up, wouldn't it? I mean, isn't the strait only, they said, like a mile?
As an expert on the Strait of Hormuz for many years, I know I learned about, as everyone else, I learned about the Strait of Hormuz a month ago.
Exactly. I was going to ask you that same question.
I had no idea. No one ever told me the Strait of Hormuz would play such a significant role in my life for a little while I'm Or when I was in California, this won't come as a shock to most people, but I was pretty shocked when I looked up because we were paying for gas. I looked and saw $7. You all are doing this every day here?
The worst thing about gas in California to me, and I can't grasp it, is the way like you dump your gas with the nozzles and you have to like angle it. And
so that was the problem. It kept clicking off for me, and I didn't know why.
The poor woman at the gas station thought I was insane because I'm sitting there complaining how it's broken. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, hey, I'm from east of the Mississippi, okay? We don't have these issues. All right?
Okay,
we pump our gas like normal human beings.
They don't have the thing where you can click and hold and leave it because I guess it wait. I don't.
And they don't have that either, yes.
I've never had that issue in Kentucky.
Mind-blowing.
I never wasted gas. I guess they're worried it will overflow if the thing doesn't shut off. At any rate, we are now joined by KSR Plus's Jeff Drummond. Jeff covers everything for Kentucky, but last night he was busy covering Kentucky baseball until 1 a.m. just about, Jeff. Is that right?
That's about right. Yeah, off and on. That was a long press conference after I felt for Adam over there in Morgantown. That was a long
The
haul.
Mingio pressers can go on for some time. I remember when they beat Oregon State a couple years ago. I guess that was to advance the College World Series, and he held us there for like 45 minutes, and we were listening to music. It was a wild time, but we talked a little bit about the game already, but you've been covering the team a lot more closely than anybody we've had on today. What are your overall thoughts on how the baseball season ended and just the season overall?
Well, I think there are probably going to be a lot of mixed feelings out there, both for the team and the fans and for everybody who watched them along the way. It's going to be remembered, I think, probably as a season of what ifs. There were so many games that could have gone their way, that didn't, that they just couldn't get over the hump. But still, when you look at it in the end, as Minge said last night, they're the only SEC team who's played in a regional championship game the last 4 years in a row.
Wow.
And you're talking about in the craziest league in the country. To be able to say that is an accomplishment. So you got to look at it as overall a positive type season, but they feel like they left a lot on the table.
I texted you guys that yesterday that, man, this team actually probably should have been really good. I mean, they were good. They should have had a much better record. I didn't watch them as closely as you all did. And I did text you. I can't remember what part of the game. And I don't know if it was you or Adam that said, this is what we've been watching all season, by the way. Like just having a chance to close out a game and unable to do it, or have a chance to get a big hit and win the game and unable to do it, but being right there in so many games. How many rubber matches did they lose? Would you all count up all those this season?
That including this tournament, which kind of counts because you played 3 against West Virginia. It
basically was. Yeah.
That was eight of them, and they did not find a way to win any of them. And you think about baseball, the best team's going to win a third of its games. The worst team's going to win a third of its games. It's those games in the middle that always decide who's really good and who's bad. And Kentucky just couldn't find a way to win those games in the middle. And it showed up big. You know, the toughest one of the season. Well, they don't even get to another rubber match game if they take care of business on Sunday. But that Sunday night game was kind of a snapshot of every Sunday they've had this season. And it was almost like this feeling of impending doom. What's going to go wrong, and when's it going to happen?
And right after the loss, Kentucky fans get just some much needed big news. TJ Walker, former host of the show, former co-host, hopefully future co-host of the show, hopefully he comes back in September. He said out this tweet, he said, "Do I need to eat a little crow? Yes, I do. People kept saying when Pope was whiffing in April and May that you have to let it play out and wait to see the final roster." I was one of those people. And those people were right. Hey, I got to be right for once, at least for right now. He said there were some embarrassing misses, and UK seemingly had the upper hand in a few recruitments and still came up short too often. He said, "I'm always going to react in the moment and give my honest opinion, but I'm wrong plenty." And Pope ultimately put together a fun roster that can compete for a Final Four. Jeff, in your opinion, can this team at least compete for a Final Four?
I think it's possible. I might change the measuring stick just a little bit. I think this moved them from likely Sweet 16 contender to maybe an Elite Eight contender. And in my mind, that's kind of where you judge basketball teams now compared to the past. If you can make it to the Elite Eight, you've got a shot to win it. I don't think you have to get all the way to the Final Four. Anything can happen in that Elite Eight, and we've seen anything and everything happen with Kentucky. And
Kentucky Elite Eight games are some of the most historically memorable games in all of college basketball. If you run through the list of games Kentucky plays in the Elite Eight, there's just a plethora of them. Yeah.
So I think he puts them in a position. I would have them right now. I was looking at it this morning. I think they might be a top 10 to 12 team until we see how the parts come together and perform together. But I think they've got a shot to be in contention for an Elite Eight spot.
And really, I've said there are three things that I consider if Kentucky does just one of these three things, I consider it a good season. In a lot of ways, a great season. If you win the SEC outright, if you win the SEC tournament, or if you make the Elite Eight, all three of those very hard to do, especially now with an 18-team SEC and schools in the SEC investing in basketball more. I don't consider any of those a given or an automatic, or that they are the expectation year in and year out anymore. But do any of those three, I consider it a great season. We have not hit on any of those, Jeff, since 18? Is that, or 2020? I guess they won the SEC. I keep forgetting they won the SEC in 2020, and then the season got canceled. But that's the longest we've gone without getting at least one of those in school history. And so I guess that is what we're trying. That's the streak we're trying to end this season. And I think that with Momcilovic, finally we can actually dream about doing it. If they didn't get him, you said they were fighting for the Sweet 16. Was there a scenario where without Momcilovic that we get to the end of this season and there's bigger decisions that need to be made?
Yeah, I think that's possible because without him, they may have been another first weekend type team. And who knows? There's no guarantee that they won't be that still. The way the NCAA tournament has gone in recent years for a lot of big schools, have found it difficult to get out of that first weekend. I think Kansas, if you look at theirs, something like 6 out of the last 7 or 8 years, they haven't been out of the first weekend with Bill Self and all that talent. So, yeah.
Yep.
And I'm trying to remember.
I think that people will forgive it. Like if Kentucky got a 2 seed, but they got upset by 7 or 10, we Kentucky fans, myself included, would be furious. But I think we can forgive it if the regular season was good enough that you earned a 2 seed, because then you're at least proving like this thing works. Upsets happen as long as you avoid losing to the 15 seed. I think fans can forgive that. But yeah, I mean, I think if you don't make the second weekend with this team, people are going to be rightfully upset.
Could be. And, the big thing that's hung over the first two teams with Pope has been the health situation.
Yep.
You
can't help talking about that. Yeah.
The random nature of those things. And you hope he can keep a squad fully healthy this season. I want to just watch them play with the guys they're supposed to have for a year and then judge Pope then. We can be critical of what we've seen in the first 2 years. I think the first year was a marvelous job putting that team together on the fly and getting to the Sweet 16 and beating all of the good teams they did along the way. The second year, not so much. The third year, hopefully we'll get a chance to really gauge this thing with a full roster, a healthy roster, and with some talented guys.
You want to talk about year one, and I'm hoping that year 3 can be a sort of reset so we can kind of go back to what Mark Pope was able to do in year 1 by running the offense that made us so excited about the Mark Pope hire. I think that year 1 team was an Elite 8 team with Final Four potential if they didn't have all the injuries that they had. Am I way off on that take?
No, I think if you've got a fully healthy Lamont Butler and you have Jackson Robinson, I think you beat Tennessee again.
Yeah. And I think too, you probably land, you get a 2 seed most likely if Lamont's able to play. I think you can go through several games and you can do the same thing with last season, and that's why everybody who I've had on the show today basically has all said we haven't been able to really grade Mark Pope as Kentucky's coach because they haven't had the full roster for even a third of the season. I mean, Kerr Kriisa went down in, what was that, the first game in December and didn't play the rest of the year. Lamont Butler got hurt pretty early on too. And then last year, I mean, you don't even get to start the season with Jalen Lowe as the only point guard. So yeah, I mean, I want more than anything, I would like to know if this can work. And the only way to know is by getting a season with, there's going to be injuries, but can we avoid the big injuries? Can we avoid losing multiple players for the whole season?
Yeah, and if they can do that, I'm looking forward to seeing, what he can do again with personnel that fits what he wants to do. I think he got spooked that first year in the SEC and overcompensated, and we saw that went wrong. This year, it looks like he has recruited guys and added transfer portal pieces that fit the way he really wants to play, the system that he brought to Kentucky.
Yeah, 35 threes a game. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to the video game offense that convinced us that Mark Pope was going to work here. We'll get to some text in the Game Day Men's Health text line. Wisconsin guy Carrico says, a yes or no, was Pope's photo of him on the beach cool? Jeff, what do you think?
I don't know if it was cool. What was it? It was AI. Have we determined that?
Was it AI? They talked about that on KSR, and I thought they determined that it wasn't because there was another photo where it had the exact same everything, which is pretty difficult, I guess, for AI to do. I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But if it wasn't, if that was a real photo, him putting that out and putting the 50 Cent song on it, it might be the coolest Mark Pope has looked since the opening press conference.
Yeah, I guess either way, I'm okay with what they do, especially with what he's been through. And I put that in air quotes here. All the critiques and barbs he's taken to finally come through and win one of these big battles. I'm okay with him getting a little bit fired up, sticking out his chest a bit. But they just all kind of struck me as weird, as like sitting on a beach with the big basket of fruit.
And, a lot of fruit. There's a lot of fruit. And the cards.
There's just so much going on. I was like, this has to be AI generated. Even if he is on a beach somewhere, I still think that photo is not.
I'm looking at it again right now, and I want to see the other photos that people were talking about. I'll try to compare them. Maybe I'll send it to ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT what it thinks. Local John texted in. He said, let's go, Coach Pope and all the staff and entire team for awesome basketball cats. The M&M connection is alive and well. This team can and will make noise this season. The other thing is Jamal Crawford. Do you think Kentucky's going to end up adding another assistant to the basketball program?
I think they'd really like to. I'm wondering how feasible that is. It doesn't, and I haven't spoken to Jamal Crawford, so I don't know exactly where his mind is, and I haven't seen really any interviews addressing it specifically as why he may want to jump back into college coaching. But he'd be a fantastic piece for obvious reasons. Closely connected to him, but he's got all sorts of connections within the recruiting game too that would benefit Pope moving forward.
And that's where I'm giving Mark Pope some credit also. He's, I think, identifying some of the spots that he doesn't do so well at, and are looking for guys who can fill those roles. And that to me is a sign of somebody who, for one, is aware of his shortcomings and trying to fix them. The one thing I don't think Mark Pope is, although some people have given him this label, I don't think he's stubborn enough to try to keep doing things the way he's doing them and failing. I think he will try to switch things up. Actually, I think we saw it last year when he switched his entire offense, and just to match the personnel that he was left with after the injuries. So I appreciate his willingness to go out and bring in some guys he thinks will help on the recruiting trail. And yeah, Jamal Crawford would be huge. Here's a text that I'll have you respond to. Also, I don't know anyone who thinks men should be fired, but it's fair to point out the obvious. His constant, insane, all caps, decisions have cost the team countless games. His coaching Sunday night is why this team isn't hosting a super regional. How do you feel about that?
Well, I would like to have more context with that question. Every manager in a baseball situation is going to get questioned.
Yeah,
we see it at every level. They play so many games. There's so many situations, and that's fair to level some critique along the way. We saw some situations during the season that I would say maybe I do that a different way, but I don't put Sunday on him because I assume the texter means not using Jackson Jelkin.
Probably, yeah.
If he was available, they would have used Jackson Jelkin. I think Jelkin went to the bullpen. I think he started loosening up and relayed back to the dugout, said, hey, it just doesn't feel right. He threw almost 100 pitches, 36 hours before or something like that. And his arm, he knows his arm, he knows his body better than anybody. Told him, it does not feel right. So ultimately, the guys you put out there have to get the job done. You got a 9-6 lead in the 9th inning. Somebody's got to get the job done there. It's not on the coach. The coach can't go out there and throw strikes for you.
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. I really appreciate you coming on. Appreciate all our guests, Nick Roush, Brandon Ramsey, Daniel Hager today. We will be back tomorrow. Trivia with Corey Price. We're doing it a day early this week. We will see you then. Trevor Kelsey will join us for that as well. Thanks for listening to Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio.